Today we're going to talk about the Trekz Air wireless bone conduction headphones. 4.03 miles, 9 minutes 20 seconds per mile, taking it nice and easy. And full disclosure, the footage that you just saw of that run was actually from earlier on this week, several days ago. And after that run, it just completely wiped me on my butt from the cold that I've been trying to recover from and set me back a couple of days. Totally was a mistake, but I just wanted to get out there and try these Trekz Air wireless bone conduction earbuds, because on all the other earbud reviews that I've been doing for running, this is one of the brands that has kept coming up. I know a lot of you guys are loving this brand. You love the fact that it uses bone conduction technology to send sound not through your ears, but through the bones, I think, of not your temple, whatever it is right here, to transmit sound from the earbuds, bone conduction headphones, not earbuds, so that you can sense and perceive the sound while keeping your ear canal free so you can still hear ambient noise. Sounds like it's really great for safety. A lot of you extol the safety features for it there. Others of you have been lauding it because then you're not putting something directly in your ear and hurting your eardrums. And so it's supposed to be better for your overall ear and hearing health. But for whatever it is, here's what they look like. And I'd been kind of ignoring them or putting them off for a really long time because it always looked like, at least for the winter time, you couldn't run in them because of the way that they were designed. If you tried to wear them with the hat, this back loop would get in the way and it'd be all awkward and uncomfortable. But with the new design, with the Trekz Air, I think they made them lighter, and they also curved it down a little bit further so that way when you put them on, they would sit right here in front of your actual ear canal, and then the plastic part connecting the two pieces would go further down. And so I was able to wear them with a winter hat, and that wasn't too much of a problem. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, what I want to talk about is kind of what it feels like to have these on. So they're extremely lightweight. I didn't really notice them on. You could see that I can also wear them with glasses without any problem. They don't seem to interfere. So they're very cleverly designed. But once you turn them on, and there's buttons down here, they're always hard for me to find. I don't have the muscle memory to know exactly where they are. To turn it on, power on is the same button as the volume up and the volume down. Very simple in terms of the buttons. Pairing was super easy. Once you get them on and play some sound, it's really weird because I could still kind of hear all the ambient noise, and also I'm not hearing ambient noise because as the music comes in, it fills your, like if you think of like what your ear can perceive as a cup, it still fills the same amount of volume, to use ambiguous terms in that way, but you're also hearing other sounds kind of at the same time. It's a really strange sensation, and the audio is a little bit off as well. Definitely doesn't have any bass, and I'm trying to keep that tempered because I'm a guy that likes bass to a fault. I'm always cranking up the bass. My favorite headphones growing up were the ones from Sony that had bass boost. Remember that? So that was something that I've always wanted, is more bass. These have none of that. And so it's a little bit of a not a tinny sound, but a sound that lacks bass. So it takes a little bit of getting used to that. It's kind of weird. But on the other hand, once I actually started running, I didn't notice the lack of bass. And in other words, the ambient noises, the blood rushing through my head, the other efforts that I'm making while I'm running kind of made up the difference for the lack of bass just sitting down. So this is not obviously something you want to use just sitting around, or maybe it is, but I wouldn't use it for just sitting around because the sound is so different. But for running, the sound really wasn't all that different for me, which maybe tells you something about my hearing or lack of hearing. So it wasn't distractingly bad as it is when you're just sitting in a quiet room. But it also was a little bit uncomfortable under my winter hat. And so because of the way this thing is designed, I thought it would just kind of tuck neatly underneath the hat. But instead, it's sitting at a point where it's actually kind of opening up the hat. And so I found my ears were more cold than they would have been because these were kind of letting, it's as if I had like lifted up my hat to let air in. And so my ears were a little bit colder than they normally would have been had I been running with true wireless earbuds like the AirPods or any other of the true wireless earbuds that I've been working with. And so I didn't really like it. Plus, this rubber part that's on the back kept bouncing into the back of my hood. It didn't really interfere with my hat too much, so that part of the engineering is good. But I just kind of felt it bumping into things or protruding from things, and so it felt a little bit awkward to run with. All those kind of problems, I guess I could live with if I felt like the Trekz Air were delivering on like the additional safety. But I don't know that I felt any more safe because yes, I have much less sound coming in through the ear canal, and then it's therefore open to hear ambient sound. But there's only so much your brain can perceive in terms of audio. And so with the audio up to a level that I'm wanting to listen to it while I'm running, I'm still able to or unable to hear or be able to perceive my ambient surroundings, I think to a similar extent. So I didn't feel like I had a better sense of what was going on around me. I mean, I did and I didn't. It was like a weird kind of sensation. I heard other ambient noises that were just completely distracting and actually made me kind of turn my head here and there. They weren't cars, and I knew when I heard them that they weren't cars, but it was just weird sounds that I was hearing. And so I found that really distracting, and I found it taking my attention away from what was going on in front of me to try and pinpoint what these sounds were. And I don't know if that's just something you get used to or what. So I won't say that they're any less safe than traditional earbuds, but I didn't really get a sense that I felt more safe in them. So maybe you guys, it's very different for you guys in your experience, but for me, I felt like it was pretty similar. I intentionally tried to run down Clark Street, which is in my neighborhood. It has some kind of blind driveways that cars come out of, and some of the side streets, there isn't a lot of ability for the cars that are coming down those side streets to see who's coming down. So they tend to come up to the intersection really fast. And so you got to be a little bit careful as a runner or even as just a regular pedestrian going through. And those areas, when in those situations, I almost got hit by a car in the same kind of way that I would normally almost get hit by a car running with AirPods in. So I'm not sure that it really delivers for me, and not for the $150 purchase price of these earbuds. So I'm not sure that these are necessarily for me. I was debating whether or not to return them because I just was so underwhelmed by kind of what this is delivering. But I did think that, you know what, if I'm going to do more city runs, which is one of my goals for 2019, it might be a good thing to have. Or as I'm traveling and exploring new places, in places where I'm not as familiar, I could see there being an additional benefit to keeping the ears wide open and free while also listening to music, so that way I can go and explore and also be more aware of my surroundings, especially when I'm in a new place and don't necessarily know where all kind of the trouble spots are in terms of almost being hit by a car or running into other obstacles. So not my favorite set of earbuds, but you can certainly run in them. They're certainly very comfortable. Not the most comfortable for a winter hat, and I'm not sure that they make me feel any more safe, but I think they do what they're intended to do. I could still kind of hear somewhat everything that's around me because the ear canal is still open. They do come with a case, which is like this silicone floppy case that has a mesh kind of lining, which I thought was an interesting choice. But I'm glad that they included that because this is not a set of earbuds that I'm necessarily going to commute with. The sound bleed is a lot less than I thought it would be. So I kind of took them off and listened to them with the music up at like kind of a medium volume to see like if I tried to like commute in these, would everyone on the bus and train know exactly what I was listening to? I don't know that that would necessarily be the case, especially with all the ambient noise of a bus and train. But I would not ever pick these to commute in because the sound would, I think, just the lack of bass issue, I think would be really prominent in that scenario. So definitely would need to bring a second set of earbuds or headphones for commuting if I wanted to listen to something while commuting, and then I would take these out of the case at the end of the day and run commute home with them if that's how I wanted to use them. So that's probably how I would use them most often if I'm going to use them in the run commute situation. And I could see there being a benefit to that in my run commute. I'm running home at rush hour through the busiest parts of the city at the busiest part of the day, and so I'm probably give them more of a shot, but probably not until it gets a little bit warmer and I can wear these with a regular hat rather than a winter hat, because of the fact that they do make my ears feel a little bit colder because of just the way that they sit underneath the hat and a little bit more cold air comes in. If you have experience with the Aftershokz or the Trekz Air, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback on why you guys love or don't love these, because I'm just trying to kind of get a better feel for them. But before I go for today, I want to talk about today's charity runner for the day. Today's charity runner for the day is David Morgan. He's going to be running the Boston Marathon as part of his quest to get his 6-star medal. And he's going to be running the Boston Marathon this year for the 26.2 Foundation, which is a Hopkinton, Massachusetts-based organization that aims to promote education, fitness, and health in the local community and beyond. A very worthy organization. He needs to raise $6,000, so I've donated $10 to his cause, and I'll post a link in the description to his fundraising information in case you'd like to learn more. I'm always still looking for more charity runners, so if you are a charity runner or if you know of a charity runner and you'd like to be spotlighted on this channel, or if you just want to get $10, please send your fundraising information my way, and I'd love to put you on the channel. That's all I have for today, everybody. I'm starting to feel a lot better. Hopefully, I'm finally on the mend, about to kick this cold and can get back at it. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about, but I need to be able to run some miles and able to do it. Hopefully, the worst of this cold is behind us and we can get to our regularly scheduled programming. Thanks so much for your patience. Thanks so much for watching today's video and for making it to the end of the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?